Hey guys, so it's finally time to get rid of the DX Racer style chair, the Ergonomics chair that I've had for well over 7 years, 8 years at this point. And it was time to sort of upgrade to an ergonomic chair. The chair I chose was a hood chair. And the reason I ended up choosing this was at my workplace, they just got reinstalled with a load of new chairs. This was the brand they used and they were actually really comfortable, and so I decided to go with them. Now, I am a little bit disappointed in the chair, having had a little bit of time to play with it, but it is a definite improvement over the DX Racer Gamer chair. One of the features of the chair that I enjoyed a lot was the fact that it had this movable lumbar support. So you can see the lumbar support just there. And if you go ahead and you sit in the chair and you sort of crank it up, it will raise up like so, and then your lumbar support is in a completely different area. I did buy the attachment for the headrest, not too impressed. This does go up and down, it kind of clicks in it. Okay, in today's modern era, that's not the most expensive chair, but it's pretty damn expensive, and the way it clicks is like this. I know it's meant to do that, but it just feels wrong, and I don't know how long that will hold up. Actual comfort factor is great. Feels very comfy. There's a lot of give in this sort of mesh material that you can feel here. The lockable tilt, you have the slide and the lift. So obviously the lift is going to help the chair go up and down. That goes without saying. And again, this seat is so much more comfortable than one of these DX Racers. After you've got used to the ergonomic chair and you've sat in it for a little bit, you'll realize that this is just so much nicer. There's less pressure. There's only a few things that irritate me. Well, number one is the headrest. Number two is just the rattle. I don't know if you're quite picking this up on camera. There is some give in the back. And if we spin it round, maybe you can see that effectively here, this is kind of where the ratcheting back goes up and down. And there's just a lot of play in it. And I know that's so it's more comfortable and ergonomic, but it just doesn't sound or feel great. The chair arms are so uncomfortable. There's no getting around it. Now, they do allow you, if you look, to go up and down here. So you can go up and you can go down like this, and they lock, so they're locked. They can tilt, and that's nice, and they can also, if I can sort of do it with one hand, if you saw there, they do go back and forwards. Now the problem is the back and forwards don't lock. I've gone ahead and I've purchased these covers. I'll link in the description, and what these basically do is they just clip over the top, and then they have this memory foam inside, and they're much more comfortable. So if you're interested in them, I can link them in the description. However, it is a bit disappointing to buy an expensive chair. Go ahead and purchase an edition. So if we just tilt it like this, there is the chair in action. This chair does have a weight capacity of, I think, around 20 stone. It is nice, don't get me wrong, I do like it. However, again, there are some quirks that do frustrate me. I sound like I'm being overly negative, but I do like to get them out of the way first. So this is not a paid promotion by Hood. I spent my own money on this, there's no sponsorship. Now, again, I can say the chair is very comfortable. I get up off this after a long session, and I don't feel anything. I think that's great, that's comfortable, that's lovely. Features, again, is the slide. So you see this slide here, and it will slide all the way back. That's a quality feature that really helps you get comfortable. Now, the first level of tilt, meaning the first click back of the tilt, it's quite far, meaning that the very first level, you kind of are just leaning too far back, at least for me. So the lean back feature kind of has no relevance. Oh, that was heavy. You can see here it's got the free spinning base on it. I've just lifted it up onto my bed to show you what I did. Basically, when you're building the chair, there's a screw here and a screw here. When I initially built the chair, this screw was on here, and on the other side, this screw was on here. What was happening was this seat was very, very far away from this. There was a big gap here. It's now closer. And what that means is when you sit down on the chair and you pull it in, you're not quite as far away from that back, which means when it goes backwards and clicks and it only has that first step of adjustment, which is too small, you're slightly closer and it feels slightly better. What I like to do is I like to pull out this lever here, and you can adjust how tight or loose you want the back. And if I do want to lean back a little bit, I'll alleviate some of that pressure and lean back. I would probably struggle to find a more comfortable chair for this amount of money. The only thing is I'm a bit big. I'm a bit of a bigger guy, and I probably could do with the seat being able to extend ever so slightly more forwards, but the fact that it does pull forwards is a bit of a lifesaver anyway. It does look nice. In comparisons to some chairs, you know, it can look a bit messy, but the chair does look nice itself, I personally think. And I just think that this generally is going to be more comfortable for extended periods of time. I would say far, far comfier than my gaming chair. So this was purchased with my own money. For the price, these days, these gaming chairs cost more than that. Shout out, by the way, you see this guy down here? I got a cow footrest, which has just been brilliant because I refused to buy the footrest for this chair because it was like £100. I would say the number one complaint is the first lock is probably too far back, and the footrest should be a lot cheaper for what it is. If you buy the chair, the footrest should be on discount for like 30 quid, and I'd have bought it. Even maybe 40 quid. But when we're talking 70, 80, 90 pounds, no way. So yeah.